Hey Blog Buddies, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in again. I wanted to take this chance to talk to you about something that I learnt last night. Uh, as most of you know, I'm a really keen photographer, and over the last 18 months I've been working towards making a business out of it. I've been working freelance, and recently I started applying for jobs with photographic studios sort of around Melbourne, and looking at potentially doing contract work and things like that. And I noticed on a lot of the applications that they ask for a qualification, and I don't have a degree in photography, so I decided to do an online diploma. It took a while for me to come around to doing the diploma though. My original attitude was that I looked at my work and I looked at the work these places were producing, and I believed that my work was the same, in some cases better, in some cases maybe not quite as good, but I believed that my work was up to par, and I had a lot of pride in my work. And it frustrated me that a lot of these places wouldn't even look at my portfolio because I didn't have some kind of qualification. I got really angry, and I sort of thought, why would you take someone whose work was average but had a degree over, say, someone whose work was really good but didn't have a degree? Aren't you... I started to convince myself that it was about their marketing and they just want to tell their customers that all of their photographers are qualified and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I decided that it was time to swallow my pride and set aside my ego and do this course. And surprisingly, I'm learning a lot. I have been teaching myself photography now for probably close to 4 or 5 years, and I believed that I knew everything that would be taught in a course. I thought the best way for me to learn would be to go and work with another photographer as an assistant and do it that way, which is still true. There's still a lot to learn. I guess last night it made me think about my ego and my pride and how it holds me back sometimes, and how that probably is the same for a lot of people out there. A lot of the time we have opportunities in our lives, or we hit roadblocks in things that we want to achieve, and our pride and our egos stand in our way. They prevent us from moving on. They stop us from asking questions. They stop us from learning new things. We think we know it all. We think we have the answers, or we think we don't need help. We can do it ourselves. And that's not always true. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that I come to realize that if I set aside my ego and set aside my pride, not only in photography, but in other things in my life as well, the world becomes limitless. Your potential becomes limitless. And you become limitless. The potential for you to learn and grow increases exponentially because you're no longer holding yourself back. How many times can you think of where maybe that was the case? See, half the battle is being able to recognize it, and I think now that I've come to this realization, I am only human. I don't have all the answers. I still have ego and I still have pride, but now I can more easily recognize when it's standing in my way. And I guess now when I hesitate to ask a question because I think, I already know that, or what can you offer me, or you don't have all the answers, I know more than you anyway. When I think those things, now I can stop and examine myself and say to myself, hang on a second, there's a chance here to grow. And I think that's what life is all about, and not just in photography, but in everything. How many times do we let pride and ego get in the way of relationships? How many times do we let pride and ego stop us from being kind to someone? How many times do we let pride and ego prevent us from solving a problem that's been happening in our lives? There's nothing wrong with swallowing your pride, because there is so much good that can come from it sometimes. You know, I don't think pride is always a sin. You know, it's one thing to be proud of who you are, but it's another thing to allow it to blind you to opportunities and your own potential. So that's it. That's all I've got to say. I'm going to stop raving on now. I sound a little bit crazy sometimes when I go on and on, but I hope you all have a fantastic time and, you know, peace, enjoy, be happy.